This is John Mulligan. I'm at Search Engine Strategies New York 2009. I'm here with Kevin Ryan, who's Chief Marketing Officer of WebVisible, and he's on the advisory board of Search Engine Strategies Conference, the one, the only. So, Kevin, Kevin, we're closing up the show here, and you were in a great panel on universal search. Can you tell me a little bit about what went down there?
So, I mean, it was a combination of perspectives from the engines, so Yahoo, Microsoft, Ask, and agency, and then in addition to that, a gentleman from Intuit as well, basically just offering different perspectives on how the search world has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that we had started in the middle of last year, or early parts of last year, to really start to understand how the results were actually changing, because the search results page is no longer just blue links. It's images, it's video, it's news, it's local results. So it's very important for companies to really have a grasp on how those results appear and how they're interpreted specifically for their own brand. So what we're doing was a combination of offering the engine's perspective and where they're coming from in offering blended results and how people are adjusting to them. So it was a pretty interesting process.
So, giving the engine's perspective in terms of how they have to keep changing and tweaking this new formula for, for mixing up all of this different media onto one page, right? How have they lately been shifting their algorithms? And did you see the agencies who were on the panel like trying to help out the people in the audience in terms of like how they could change their media strategies in order to play to that best?
Absolutely. The old mantra was optimize for those blue text links and focus on site content and focus on text, because the image assets of a website, the audio assets of a website, the news results, they were all separate. But now that everything has been blended together, there were a couple of big takeaways. The first was everything on your website is now a search asset. And it's important to think of it in that capacity, with a greater emphasis on if it's local information that people are looking for as it relates to your product, service, or brand, then that information needs to exist in a form that can be easily indexed and will be included in the results. And the second big takeaway was that the algorithms, the ranking architectures, the inclusion of various site assets has to constantly be refined. And if there's one message that came through pretty clear for the engines was that they are in a state of constant refinement.
Did the people in the audience find that kind of overwhelming once they saw how much was being put out there? Like they suddenly realized, oh my God, we can't just put keywords in here. We have to think about what's on the page. Now that everything's fair game, and now that someone's news story can push like this page that I've been working on for months down a couple rankings, did you see like a deer in the headlights look, or were people trying to like work through it?
Well, and I just got back from SES Amsterdam, and there's definitely a difference between the U.S. audience and the European audience as it relates to search marketing. But there is a lot of deer in the headlights. I mean, a lot of people thought of blended search, and they're just discovering it. They're just finding out about it, because it's not like there's a large banner running at the top of each of these results pages saying, "Look at our new search." Some of them did that early on. But when you start to look at the actual penetration rates and the numbers of searches that contain a blended result and the number of users who saw blended results, it's constantly growing and it's constantly increasing, and it's reaching critical mass to the extent that everyone needs to be paying attention to it. So there's a lot of people out there that are just discovering it now, and there's a lot of deer in the headlights looks.
So where's one place that people can go for like a good condensed research? A good condensed resource so that they can get started down the path of like optimizing all of the content that's eligible on their website.
Well, I mean, I've written about it for Search Engine Watch. I've written about it for iMedia. There are lots of folks that have written about how to optimize for blended results. And what it really comes down to is finding specific tactics that are appropriate for you. If you're a plumber in San Diego and you have 14 different locations in that area, you want to be paying particular attention to local results. So people are going to be looking for that.
So people should do their homework. They should do a Google search for universal search.
We should start searching for optimizing for blended search, and Google Universal is Google's kind of brand name for a blended search, but I think the generic, if you will, is blended search. So lots of folks are trying to make that delineation. But again, it's so new that at the end of the day, people are just starting to learn about it, and they need to learn quick.
Well, there you go, everybody. Stay on your toes. Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Sure. Thanks.
Stay tuned for more. Well, actually, this might be the last from Search Engine Strategies New York 2009.
That could be it.